The Denver Nuggets are unlocking Russell Westbrook, maximizing everything that he can do for you alongside Nikola Jokic in this unique Denver Nuggets offense. Russell Westbrook has started in 17 games this season, and the Nuggets have won all but 4 of those games that he's started. The pairing of Westbrook and Jokic hasn't just simply been serviceable, it's actually been elite. With both Russell Westbrook and Jokic on the floor, the Nuggets are clocking an absolutely elite 126.9 offensive rating and their plus 14.5 in net rating, both of which are in the 99th percentile in the NBA right now. But what are the Nuggets doing differently? And more importantly, what is Russell Westbrook doing differently to have so much success compared to what we've seen from him over the course of the last few years, where he's had a lot of ups and downs? The conversation around Russell Westbrook's fit in Denver has always seemingly centered around the fact that Russ isn't a three-point shooter. Even though the Nuggets rank 3rd in three-point efficiency, they're dead last in three-point attempt rate. So you look at the fact that Westbrook not only attempts a very low volume of threes on a nightly basis, but he also doesn't hit them at a reliable clip, and it makes you wonder, how can you possibly make this work alongside Nikola Jokic? Even though strong perimeter shooting ability is a great trait to have, it's not the only way to fit alongside him. Look at Aaron Gordon, who has shot only 33% from 3 over the last 4 seasons with Denver. Teams are happy to help off of him from the three-point line, but how does he make up for it? He does it by cutting hard off the ball to punish teams for surrendering that space. When you have Aaron Gordon spaced in the corner and teams help off of him, you might end up having an extra body available to throw at Jokic to slow him down, but you allow Aaron Gordon to get the ball going downhill off the catch, and good luck stopping him running at you with a full head of steam. Aaron Gordon is a forward and Westbrook is a point guard, and even though they have vastly different builds and wildly different skill sets, the same philosophies still apply, and the Nuggets are applying these philosophies with Russell Westbrook. The two-man game between Russell Westbrook and Jokic is being fully optimized, due in large part because of Westbrook's willingness as a cutter this season. Westbrook is going to feed Jokic the ball, knowing that this is going to prompt Klay to slide over and provide the double team. When this happens, it's going to trigger Russ to make this cut directly behind him, and you're not stopping Westbrook diving to the basket like this. The Mavericks have Lively on Westbrook so that Lively can roam and double Jokic if he needs to, but this is easily countered by Westbrook. Once that double is sent, he's going to cut behind them into all this open space, and since Lively was pulled up to double Jokic, there's no center down there available to provide any help and stop him at the rim. Theoretically, yes, putting your center on Westbrook makes sense since you're not particularly worried about him shooting, but that's only half the battle because you also need to be prepared to stop him on cuts. And while you're happy to help off of him on the perimeter because he's only a 32% three-point shooter, this little math battle goes out the window when you look at his efficiency as a cutter. His 31.9% three-point shooting comes out to 0.957 points per shot, which is pretty bad. But his 66.7% on cuts comes out to 1.33 points per shot. So while the defense is happy to surrender Westbrook getting open threes, you also have to be prepared to defend him off ball as a cutter, and this is where he's made so much money this season. This set weaponizes Westbrook's speed and punishes gambling defenses, with Strawther getting the handoff to fake the pass to Westbrook, and this gets Williams to try and jump the pass. Strawther is instead going to feed Jokic at the elbow to set up this blind pig action, and since Westbrook left Williams in the dust after the gamble for the steal, it puts Sharp in a 2-on-1, and it's either give Jokic a layup or give Westbrook a layup. If the opposing team's center is on Jokic, giving him the ball up top with Westbrook in the corner sets up what initially looks like a handoff, but since Collins is pulled away from the paint, Westbrook is going to reject it and cut into all the open space against zero help for the easiest layup in the world. Here, Jokic has Capella on him, so Westbrook feeds him for a quick hitter, allowing him to cut past Dyson Daniels and get into space for the pass and finish. They really blur the lines in terms of his role by using him as a screener, and it leads to a lot of easy looks. On this elbow action, it initially looks like Murray is going to receive the handoff, but the Nuggets get really weird running this inverted pick and roll near the free throw line, and since Klay jumps out to hedge on Jokic, Russ is going to slip the screen like a center and get the ball in the paint to force the help defense, and it opens up the feed to Brown on the cut. Westbrook is great with these screens to get the center switched off of Jokic, and since Wemby switches, Westbrook is going to pull out after getting the pass, bringing Wemby away from the rim and away from the paint, and this then allows Jokic to cut to the basket against a much smaller Chris Paul, and that's an easy bucket. Although the defense isn't expecting him to shoot a three here, they still have to guard him out to the perimeter unless they want to give him a free drive, and the same philosophy as before applies with Jokic making the cut, and since the center was on Westbrook, there's nobody there to help stop Jokic at the rim. Now, just as Westbrook is benefiting from playing alongside Jokic, Jokic is also benefiting from playing alongside Westbrook. Having Russ drive on this pick and roll with Jokic gets both Chris Paul's and Wemby's attention, drawing both of them in further into the paint, opening up the pass back to Jokic on the roll, and it creates an easy look. Here he drives off the screen, and he finally gets Collins to commit to stopping the drive, leaving Jokic open up top for the three. Having the ability to generate these paint touches and be aggressive as a driver takes defensive attention off of Jokic and can set him up for some really easy looks. And even when Westbrook's not directly involved in the action, his cutting is still being maximized. The defense is completely ignoring Russ, spaced out on the weak side wing, with Strother setting this little flare for him. MPJ ends up drawing two on the ball, leaving Jokic open on the short roll, and notice now that Chris Paul is the only defender in the paint. Since Harrison Barnes was ignoring Westbrook on the wing, Russ takes off on the 45 cut, and he's going to get it in stride for an easy finish. Now notice Westbrook over on the weak side as Brown sets this ghost screen on Capella to roll into space. This is going to prompt Dyson Daniels to focus more on Brown on the roll, opening up the pass to Westbrook. Since Daniels went to focus more on Brown, Matthews is going to have to come down onto Westbrook, and this creates an open pass to MPJ, with Westbrook connecting with him for three. All of this cutting has allowed Westbrook to opportunistically nab some of the easiest points you can get. It's pretty mind-blowing when you look at the fact that Westbrook, one of the most aggressive rim scorers in modern NBA history, is having his most efficient season at the rim in his entire career. Part of it is, of course, the fact that Jokic demands mountains upon mountains of defensive attention, drawing double teams pretty much every time he gets the ball in the post, but the other big part of this is Westbrook willingly adapting his game to leverage that unreal athleticism and finishing ability into easy points. I understand that he has lost a bit of a step in some areas, but it's easy to forget that he's 36 years old. For him to still be as unstoppable of a downhill force as he is, for him to still be able to go airborne the way that he does, just really doesn't make a ton of sense for somebody of his age. We can really start to see this when we look at what he's doing in transition on a nightly basis, constantly pushing the pace to force opposing defenses to have to make quick decisions, and when you pair that with his passing ability, you end up generating so many free points in early offense. He's going to get the rebound here, and Gafford is going to fall, leaving the Mavericks already down a man. Westbrook is going to push the ball up the floor to increase the pressure, and he runs PJ Washington into Jokic a bit to get by him, leaving Dinwiddie and Clay as the only defenders for the now three guys in this flat line. Westbrook's able to just go up for the layup. Pairing Jokic and Westbrook in transition is a nightmare for defenses because Jokic himself is also a great transition passer, finding Westbrook with the hit-ahead pass here to set Westbrook up with a head of steam going downhill against Kleba, and then we get to see that ridiculous athleticism in midair acrobatics from Westbrook to get the finish. He's able to put a lot of pressure on you very, very fast, and if your defense isn't prepared to stop it, then he's going to punish you for it. They're in early offense, and seeing this ghost screen from Watson, he's going to pressure the basket to get PJ Washington at first, forcing Marshall to have to turn back around, and this opens up the feed to Watson in the dunker spot. Even when the defense is set up to defend in transition, he can slip passes through incredibly tight passing windows like this one to find a cutter that slipped behind the defense, turning what initially wasn't a numbers advantage into two easy points. It's no surprise that Denver ranks in the top 10 in transition points per possession as well as transition possessions per game. When you have two transition monsters like Westbrook and Jokic, you can win a ton of easy points through their ability to get the ball up the floor. Now, there's one thing that everyone loves to harp on with Russell Westbrook, and that's his three-point shooting. But how bad is it actually? Sure, he's shooting 32% from 3 on the season so far, but that raw percentage doesn't tell the whole story. While he is shooting a pretty awful 24% from above the break, he's actually been an elite corner 3-point shooter this year, coming in at 45%, and that ranks in the 96th percentile in corner 3-point efficiency. What this says to me is that he's currently knocking them down at a reliable enough clip that he can punish teams for helping off of him when he's in the corners. As long as the Nuggets make it a priority to set him up where most of his threes are coming from the corners, if this efficiency does hold up, he can have an impact as a floor spacer to a certain extent. Russell Westbrook is a very unique player, and he's certainly not everything that he used to be. But when you put a player like him alongside Jokic, you recognize not only the fact that Jokic is one of the best in the history of the NBA at making his teammates better, but also that Russell Westbrook is willing and able to adapt his game to suit whatever the team needs of him. Although Aaron Gordon is returning to the lineup now, and we may see Westbrook return to a role off the bench, he's continued to start, and there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to be one of the most important pieces for Denver, looking to continue their run as a contender in a tightly contested Western Conference. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, as always, consider leaving a like and subscribing. Regardless, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.